Introducing a stallion as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus buyer speed figures, a 3-time Grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Saturday, February the 12th. Well, Kentucky Derby points on the line in the Grade 3 Sam F. Davis Stakes. It's race number 10 at Tampa Bay Downs. We're going a mile and a 16th. $250,000 is the purse. Let's take a look at this field. Our Derby prep coverage is presented by Gainesway, new to Gainesway in 2022. Raging Bull, multiple Grade 1 stakes winner, miler performance, and just a beautiful looking individual. You can download free formulator past performances for the Sam F. Davis on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us, and of course you can bet this race and the entire Tampa Bay card on Saturday with your DRF Bets account. Seasonal debut, Mike, for the 3 Classic Causeway. Did some nice things as a 2-year-old.
Yeah, he did. Only ran 3 times, but ran well, I thought, in all of those races. Dan, it'll be interesting to see how aggressive Ortiz gets with him early in this race, because he has plenty of speed.
And there does appear to be speed in this race. As we throw up our Timeform US pace projector, you'll note the red bar indicating Timeform US believes this pace will be fast. Unpredictable base stretching out should show speed. Classic Causeway, as you mentioned, has speed. Even the 1 Mr. Rum Runner, the 6 Trademark, Shipsational went gate to wire at Belmont last time out. This pace should be solid.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't know. I felt like when I looked at the race, I don't know. I didn't necessarily see a ton of speed in here. I mean, maybe those 2 horses drawn inside of the favorite in this race, Classic Causeway, maybe they'll go in here, but I don't know. I didn't think it had to be a fast pace.
Well, the number 1, Mr. Rum Runner, already stakes place, but on the new Tapeta surface at Gulfstream Park, subsequently a maiden graduate, and then no match for Simplification and Strike Hard, who's also in this field in the Mucho Macho Man. He's going to have to do better as he stretches back out around 2 turns.
Yeah, there's just a lot working against this horse. To me, he hasn't run a race yet, and he's hit the board in all 5 of his starts so far. But to me, he hasn't run one yet that's going to make him, a major factor in this race. But he is one of those horses who I guess could show speed from the rail.
Unpredictable Bay, the number 2, never been off the board from 7 lifetime starts, but was a source of frustration leading up to his most recent race. He had dropped some close decisions. He finally found a field he could beat at Churchill Downs, going 6 furlongs. He dominated that group. He actually has some solid buyer speed figures on his resume. Distance and pace, a question. He's going to be sent.
Yeah, he probably will go. He's off of a little bit of a layoff here. I guess you're right, that I guess he just found the right field last time, because despite continuing to come up short, still went off at 3-5 last time, and won very easily. He's another horse, though, and here he's got to take a pretty big step forward.
Classic Causeway is up next. 90 buyer speed figure in his career debut, wiring them at Saratoga. Second start, solid third in the Breeders' Futurity. Last time out, good effort in the Kentucky Jockey Club, a race that has already produced 2 next out winners. One of them, White Barrio, aired in the Holy Bull with a 97 buyer. This horse has faced really good company.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he ran really well in his first 2 starts. And then, in that Kentucky Jockey Club last time, Dan, we sort of talked about this a little bit with White Barrio before his Holy Bull. Both of those horses had speed. Neither one of them decided to use it in the Kentucky Jockey Club. Classic Causeway, they rated him early. He got caught behind horses. Even White Barrio dropped in front of him on the first turn. He lost more position. I don't know. I still thought he ran pretty well in that race. And I just felt like coming back in this spot, you're just supposed to let him use his speed. He's a very fast horse. His Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland, a very underrated performance from a difficult post. They had to send him that day. He's a fast horse. I expect him to go to the lead this time.
He's a fast horse. He's a talented horse. He has figs, making his first start of the year for trainer Brian Lynch. Golden Glider, perfect 2 for 2 for Mark Cassie. Let's watch his dirt debut, second lifetime start, first race against winners. This race was at Tampa Bay, going a mile and 40 yards. And we watched Golden Glider in here, and he did some good things, Mike, to win this one. Coming from off of the pace, a solid performance. Lasix off this time around.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think he's actually run pretty well in both of his starts. I was particularly taken with his career debut, Dan. I know that was on a different surface, but I thought he actually looked really good winning that race. He was good last time too in a shorter field, and maybe he'll just have a ton of pace in front of him here to attack in the stretch. The one issue I have with him, he doesn't get out of the gate in both of his starts so far. He broke pretty slowly from the gate, and that's going to be a problem for him going forward if he.
Mark Cassidy also has the number 5, God of Love. And we have a formulator fact for this horse who was based up at Woodbine last year. Cassidy does well. Synthetic to dirt, last out winning 3-year-olds, 33%, 581 ROI. We're going to take a look at his final start at 2. This is the Grade 3 Gray Stakes. And I thought this horse ran pretty well, Mike. It's not like this pace was very fast. He came on the outside, ground everybody down, and he's got dirt in his pedigree.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I mean, you're dealing with a surface switch here, but I really liked his win in that Gray Stakes right before the layoff. Rated the break in there, sat off the pace the entire way, but he always looked like he was going to run. And then he really did run through the stretch. And I thought he was strong through the wire too. So I feel like as the distances get longer, I don't think it's going to bother this horse. I think he's interested in here.
And if that time form US pace projector holds true, fast pace should help this horse's late kick. Trademark the number 6 goes out for a very underrated trainer in Victoria Oliver. This gelding has really improved since being allowed to stretch out around 2 turns. He's shown speed in both of those races. He's won fairly comfortably. His most recent start, the horse he beat, came back to win a stakes race on turf at Sam Houston with an 82 buyer. Might have to deal with a faster pace scenario this time around, however.
Yeah, it seems almost certain that he will. That's the one thing about his first 2 starts. And I thought he actually ran well winning each of his route races, Dan, but the paces were not fast in either of those races. But he just kept finding through the stretch, really kicked away at the end of those races. So it feels like there's some talent here. I mean, you can go back and look at his most recent start, though, Dan. That's the same day as the Kentucky Jockey Club, a couple of races before that. They went the exact same pace to the half in there. And then the Kentucky Jockey Club was 2 seconds faster almost to the finish. So this horse has some improving to do, but he does look pretty good.
Number 7, Make It Big, goes out for the Safi Joseph barn that did explode onto the Kentucky Derby scene with White Abarrio and last week's Holy Bull. And what has Make It Big done wrong? 3 for 3 in his career, including this victory in the Springboard Mile at Remington Park, his first race around 2 turns. I thought it was a comfortable performance, Mike. He stayed on the outside. The pace was fair to slow, and he was pretty game in the lane.
Yeah, he really was. I mean, it's not, the most visually impressive win you're ever going to see. He just sort of came up on the outside. He really had to fight down to the finish to hold his slim margin. It didn't ever look like he was going to lose, Dan, but he couldn't get away from those horses. The second and third finishers both came back and didn't run that well. I think it was the Southwest, maybe their next start at Oaklawn. So we'll see. I don't really want to sit here and knock this horse. I think he's going to get a good trip in this race. I personally haven't been that impressed with any one of his 3 wins so far.
It'll be the 2-turn debut for New York Invader number 8, Shipsational, a New York bred who has won his last start in 2 starts. The last one, the Sleepy Hollow race, we're going to take a look at right now. 1-turn mile over a sloppy track. I can understand anybody that watches this race and says, well, I might want to take the runner-up out of this race because Shipsational kind of set a slow to moderate pace and sprinted on home. But I like the way this horse did it, Mike, and I have a feeling he might be able to sit off horses. Nice to see Eddie Barker on the trail.
I agree with all that stuff, Dan. I'm a huge Shipsational fan. I really like this horse. I would argue that he should be 4 for 4 heading into this race. His funny side at Saratoga, he had a brutal trip that day and actually ran really well. I don't know how much I want this horse stretching out, but if he can handle it, and he's got a real nice way of going, so maybe he can handle it. I think he's talented enough to be a factor in this race.
Which Howling time, the number 9, is going to show up for trainer Dale Romans? At Halloween, he stretched out for the first time right off the maiden win, and he won the Street Sensakes as the favorite. 83 buyer. Looked like he was going the right way. 2-1 in the Kentucky Jockey Club. He was on that slow pace and just had nothing left at the wire. Was it just simply a situation where he didn't like to be on the lead? Because I'm assuming they're taking him off and making one run this time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could never give him that excuse. The pace was way too slow in the Kentucky Jockey Club, and he was loose up there, Dan. I mean, they didn't even pressure him up the backstretch. He was in complete control of that race. And then when they came and took him on around the second turn, this horse was no match. That was a very disappointing performance. The flip side of that is he actually looked pretty good in his first two starts. So I'm not going to argue with anybody who wants to give him another chance here.
Interesting long shot, and here's the number 10 Volcanic, another horse trained by Mark Casse. These connections have been very aggressive with this horse. They ran him in the Hopeful as a maiden in only his third lifetime start. He didn't run well against some good 2-year-olds. And then off the layoff, he did this at Gulfstream Park, going a 1-turn mile. This was more of a game performance than anything else. He was up close to the pace. It looked like he was in deep water, turning for home. He was able to grind it out. I didn't think much of the field he beat, but maybe stretching out a little bit more will help him. Again, these connections have been very aggressive.
Yeah, I can see that working out for this horse. It's interesting, Dan, because his first two starts, the sprints on the dirt, he just, for whatever reason, he just got underway way too late in those races. It was almost like he had no idea what he was doing, and he finally kicked it into gear when the race was already over. His most recent start, that wasn't a problem. They put him right up on the pace. The horse that was second to him, Charge It, was a Pletcher first-time starter with a big pedigree. I think that horse went off at 4-5 in there. And Volcanic just sat off his flank and outfinished him at the end. I thought he took a step forward last time.
Strike Hard is up next. That's the number 11. This horse should have plenty of bottom coming into this race off 5 routes, 2 of them wins. And then this effort, his most recent start, it was the Mucho Macho Man Stakes. He finishes second to Simplification, who came back to run a good second in the Holy Bull with a 91 Beyer speed figure. So he's kept good company. This is a tough post. I'm assuming that Reyes is just going to break out of there and kind of just let this pace go and try to come with a run. I think 6-1 is a little bit light on this horse, but I wouldn't be surprised if he drifts.
I agree. I wouldn't bet him at 6-1 either. I think you might do better than that when all is said and done. I can't say that I love him, Dan. I'll say this about his Mucho Macho Man. I did not care for the ride that he got in that race. And I'm not going to sit here and say it was all Junior Alvarado's fault, because maybe it wasn't. But it felt like he could have been forward up the rail early in that race. They decided not to go. He wound up behind horses. And it just took him a while to get clear in the stretch. Once he did get clear, I thought he ran on pretty gamely. You know, if he was some kind of big price, I guess I could throw him in there. I don't love him, though.
Last horse in the body of the race is the 12 Kitten Mischief, a debut winner at Aqueduct in an off-turf race over Muddy Going. Came back in his first start against winners at Gulfstream. That's the race we're going to show you right now. It really looked like Speed did well on the dirt portion of the main track at Gulfstream Park. Kitten Mischief, second best in here. Just don't like the field he was up against and don't like this post, but really respect this barn.
Yeah, the post is no bargain for this horse. I actually feel like he's pretty good, though. I think he ran well in both of his starts. Identical 78 Beyers. I thought he took a step forward in his second start, though, Dan. Did a little bit of chasing in there. He was behind the winner, who was another Pletcher horse, who was a pretty big favorite. Got sort of stuck behind that horse around the turn, though. And once he got clear on the stretch, this horse ran. So I actually feel like there's a lot of upside here. He got a terrible post on the outside, though.
And the only horse on the also eligible list is Little Vic. If he gets into this race, he adds to the pace because he is stretching out with sprint speed. So keep an eye on that. And if he does get into the race, you can check out that Timeform US pace projector at timeformus.com. It will automatically update. Top pick time, wide open race. Sam F. Davis. Mike, you're going with Classic Causeway. He's just shown a lot of talent in his 3 starts and has the tactical speed to kind of work out his trip.
I just like the spot that he's in here, Dan. I like all of his races. I get that there are some very interesting horses in this race, you know, maybe that have a lot more to prove, but who could turn out to be good, and they're going to be better prices than Classic Causeway. So listen, again, I have no problem with anybody who wants to go beyond the favorite and look for somebody more interesting. I just think this horse is good, and I think he's going to run well in here.
I'm a little concerned that Shipsational might have to face a much stronger pace going 2 turns for the first time. But right after his last start, Eddie Barker said, I'm going to Tampa, and I'm aiming for the Sam F. Davis. This has been the goal in racing. It's very rare when a plan comes together, but here he is, first time at 3. I'd like to see the New York bred do well. Mike's going Classic Causeway. I'll go Shipsational. It is a fun edition of the Sam F. Davis Kentucky Derby points on the line. Our coverage presented by Gainesway.